What's your line for?
The question for number 4 was, are there opportunities to broaden the perspective of the conversation with authentic audiences from around the world, which I thought was very interesting because we use it for a lot of different things, but I don't feel like in my classroom I use it enough for outside of my, our small world. So the 2 things I put was technology can be used to access outside global audiences, students, and that the students are also motivated to publish for a global audience. So just something to kind of make them want to do more. So.
And what do you think about that? Is that something that you've tried to work on in your own classroom, or what are your thoughts on the use of a global audience or tying it to something outside your own classroom?
I've actually thought about that a lot because going back to national boards, that's in one of our standards is different audiences and making the students want to, I guess, compose work or read or write for other audiences. So I've been trying to think of different ways, and right now it's kind of still, though, like she said, it's in our small world because I've got parents and other friends, but I guess...
Well, and the younger the kids are, the little more you want to protect them from the outside world. So we slowly, as they get older, add a larger audience maybe. And so right now, that is their world. Their community and their family are their world. So just being able to write for them. I remember back in the day when we made books for our families for Christmas, and I had to write a story, and we bound it like a book. And, but that to me, I worked really hard on that because I knew I was making this for my family. It was a Christmas gift, and that they were going to read it, and I wanted them to be proud of what I wrote. And so I had to compose this, fictional story, and my mother still has the book, and it's some rabbit on Christmas Eve. But anyway, but that really motivated me to do well because, and I was going to be a published author, my book was going to be bound. And so with technology, it's even easier today to do that because you can do things, online, but still something that you can share, with their families and friends and small community.
Okay, 5. Who read 5?
I did. Well, the question is there an opportunity for students to create a contribution, purposeful work? And 2 of the points that struck me was, the first one is commitment from students is based on an intrinsic value and not their external reward. And the thing that I think of with high school students is the ACT. If it's not important to them, they're not going to try as hard on it. And somehow, with whatever you do, you've got to make it important to them. And this article talks about a math teacher who has her geometry students work up a project for teaching blind students elements of geometry, and how they got so into it that they spent 200 hours on it, didn't get any extra credit because they were so into it, it was so important to them. And then also another point that I thought was important is that teachers worry about the decline in focus, but this can be addressed by adding purposeful work for our students, and that's a problem for us at the high school. I feel it's a problem because they are very distracted by technology. It's wonderful, but it's also a distraction.
Distracted by technology, and then we lost that hold that we had over them when it used to be you can't graduate unless you pass that graduation exam.
Absolutely.
So now that's gone, which is great, but they must have that intrinsic motivation that you mentioned to do well, and some of them don't. So that's one of the conversations we've had here a lot of times is how can we get them to buy into why this is so important? Because right now they don't necessarily see how important it is, but the day they graduate and they want to go somewhere else, it's too late, and now it's important. And so, that is one of the things we've talked about a lot, and this may be the answer, is trying to figure out a way, instead of how to develop that intrinsic motivation, how to make it purposeful. How can I get them to buy into this and become excited about learning? That sort of thing.
I love that project idea because they almost, like it's a project and it has real value, and then they feel, it's almost like in social studies, one of the things we try to do are service learning projects, and so you're learning, but you're also doing a service for somebody, and if you can feel like you're helping somebody, that's a real motivation. And I think our problem, and y'all mentioned too, the graduation exam, is that we were so focused on rote memorization of facts, and we have to beat these material in your head, and that went completely with the old style of teaching, where just memorize these facts, memorize these facts, memorize these facts, and now that that's gone, and that was their motivating factor, so now we have to find new motivating factors with innovative and purposeful projects. And that's our problem, that's not a kid problem, that's a teacher
We have to
problem.
do that, right? We
That's
have
my
to do
job.
that.
And we need help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's with these advanced students,